So in contention 1, subpoint A, the affirmative, we said that the use of assault weapons increases the amount of victims. She said that, for our subpoint A, she said that it had little effect on gun violence because of the lack of ability of the bill to successfully eliminate what an assault weapon is defined as. But fortunately, that's not the case, because that's why we're doing this in accordance with Senator Dianne Feinstein's bill, which clearly defines what assault weapons are, which ones are banned, and why that bill is going to be better. In subpoint B, she argues that an increase in shootings was a flawed study. Then later on in the same piece of evidence, it says assault weapons are more likely to be used in other weapons and lethal crimes. And then the evidence says that it overstates the prevalence. I just want to say that I don't understand. This doesn't matter. Overstating the prevalence, none of this is like definitive fact. She says it overstates the prevalence and the evidence, but there's really no point in that. And in fact, we can go and look at other evidence that I'll bring forth later on in my argument that's counter to that. And subpoint C, she says that illegal weapons can be made into legal. Under the previous assault weapons ban, yes, that was true. However, fortunately, we're doing this under accordance with Senator Dianne Feinstein's ban, where it clearly defines what assault weapons are. The case that she's referring to is actually the one where we're talking about the TEC-9, which was the gun that was used in the Columbine shootings. But with Dianne Feinstein's, it clearly states in the bill that copycat weapons cannot be made or used in the same aspect that they were under the previous assault weapons ban. Subpoint D, she didn't even address that point. Our point was that assault weapons mean less reloading. Clearly, by not addressing that point, she concedes to it and agrees. In subpoint E, she talks about people could have been killed, or more people could have been killed, something like that. I don't exactly remember. However, it was something under detail like crimes were not as lethal. There we go, because R was something like that. But I just want to say that banning assault weapons would reduce the lethality of crimes. According to factcheck.org, posted on December 20th, 2012, one thing that is clear, guns are effective lethal weapons. If there were no guns, the lethality of crimes would be less, says Wilford. You can't have a drive-by knifing. In all cases of injury prevention, the agent or method involved makes a difference. On December 14th, the day of the shooting in Newtown, another attack occurred on an elementary school in China. The attacker there had a knife and injured 22 kids and 1 adult, but no one was killed. Why the stark difference in fatalities? The answer is the type of weapon that they had. In contention 2, subpoint A, she says, we said that there'd be increased public safety if we were to reinstate the ban. And then she goes on to say that the previous ban was made not much of a difference. Again, this is just based on the previous ban. It's not based at all on the ban that we're talking about, the one that's implemented by Dianne Feinstein that she brought forth before us in September 2013 of this year. Let me just go over some of the things that what the bill does. The legislation bans the sale, transfer, manufacturing, and importation of semi-automatic rifles, semi-automatic pistols, semi-automatic rifles and handguns that have magazines. It also talks about large capacity clips, and I want to go on to say that it excludes some of the following things. Weapons that's lawfully possessed, a firearm manually operated, and also weapons used by law enforcement and retired officer, and antique weapons, which means weapons that they would already be in possession of. I also want to go on to add that assault weapons are more deadly than other firearms. Assault weapons in the hands of criminals pose a far greater risk than other firearms. This can just be based off of, common sense. Semi-automatic weapons are capable of firing far more rounds per minute, enabling criminals to kill more innocent civilians in the event of a massacre. Something that supports this is the Jerry Lee Center of Criminology, and it says that the few available studies suggest that attacks with semi-automatic weapons, including assault weapons and other semi-automatics equipped with LCMs, result in more shots fired, more persons hit, and more wounds inflicted per victim than do attacks with other types of firearms. Further, a study of handgun attacks in one city found that 3% of the gunfire incidents resulted in more than 10 shots fired, and those attacks produced almost 5% of the gunshot victims. So this can be explained as going on to say that even without an automatic weapon ban, citizens are rarely able to, no, sorry, let's not say that. So I want to go on to say that we can note the benefit of a semi-automatic weapon that's generally able to kill more people is not going to be able to kill just one person, it'll be able to kill more people in a faster way. Thus, criminals inherently gain more advantage when they're using these guns than as do law-abiding citizens. I also would like to go on to add that criminalizing the ownership of assault weapons dries up the supply, decreasing the ability for most potential criminals to gain access to such weapons. Furthermore, it would decrease the risk of a citizen committing an atrocity because they have an assault weapon. I want to add that while the black market may always exist, the simple rules of supply and demand dictate that the price would increase of these assault weapons, deterring certain criminals from buying them over cheaper and far less lethal firearms. We also need to go on to say that law-abiding citizens do not need to have access to extremely lethal weapons. There's simply no reason why an average citizen needs access to assault weapons.
Time.
I now send open for cross-ex.
Alrighty. I actually do not have anything for the cross-examination.
All right.